Hey everyone, welcome to another movie review with your civil Canadians. I am King Kansas and this is Mr. Movies, better known as the man who ditched the king for this review. But anyways, we'll get to that point. What movie will we be reviewing this video, Mr. Movies? What movie?
Halloween, the brand new one.
So you can tell the king's a little upset about that because someone ditched him.
Unfortunately, I had to watch without the honorable presence of the king.
There was a good reason. The king did his marathon watch of Daredevil season 3, and Mr. Movies decided to go watch Halloween by himself. Without one King Kansas.
But with some
that's
people.
Fine. Yeah, with other people other than the king. Those are not people. They're just normal
Peasants.
commoners. But anyways, so Mr. Movies.
Yeah.
The king hasn't seen it, but you know what? We're going to do a non-spoiler and then spoiler movie review. So the first portion of our videos are usually non-spoiler.
Gotcha.
So can you tell us what did you like about the movie, and then if there's something that you hated, and then if you recommend it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So right off the bat, what I liked about this movie is how loyal it was to the very original. Because the background knowledge I'll give, so the first movie came out in 1978, and there were a bunch of other ones. This one does brilliantly because it completely erases all the others.
So it kind of deletes everything right after
because
that.
a lot of it was just garbage, pretty much.
Yeah, it was just a whole bunch of...
The Rob Zombie stuff it gets rid of too.
Oh, thank God.
All that's
that was
gone.
a disaster.
Only one that in this universe exists is the first one.
So it's the first one, and then this is the one that is a direct sequel.
It's very, very loyal to it because the premise of the first one, to go quickly, there's this individual named Michael Myers. It starts off the film, the very original, right? Him, a 6-year-old kid on Halloween night, murders his sister, right? Just something goes crazy, and gets put into a psychiatric hospital.
Little scumbag, let's just call him that.
Exactly. 15 years later, he escapes from there, essentially, and goes back to his hometown, starts going on a massacre, killing people, and gets obsessed with this...
Spoiler alert, he's ruining the first Halloween if you haven't seen it. So, Mr. Movies is actually killing us here, but anyways, okay, guys.
The very first Halloween. This one I will not spoil yet.
Okay.
The first one, right, he ends up killing people, becomes obsessed with Jamie Lee Curtis's character of the babysitter in this movie, right, Laurie, and he doesn't end up killing her.
Laurie Strode.
Essentially, the end of this film, right, he ends up being shot out a window by a cop and Laurie, and he disappears.
Okay.
Right? That used to set up the second one where he reappears.
So that's the backstory for the one that we're going to be talking about today.
This one, on the other hand, what it does is essentially, it's very clever. Since he ended up disappearing at the end of the very first 1978, they essentially say, oh, he actually got caught right after by the cops and brought back to the psychiatric hospital.
So was that seen in the movie?
It is not, but that right away they tell you.
So you kind of so that's what I think.
They lead you into it.
So don't remember, keep it non-spoiler. You got it. So, what do you think of the actors? What do you think about the music, the feel, the look, the touch? How was it?
Now that we got that base premise out of the way, an excellent movie across the board. The acting phenomenal. In particular, I thought all the actors did a great job, but Jamie Lee Curtis steals the show.
So she is a standout.
Probably, I go as far as to say she's probably one of my new favorite female actresses.
Wow,
she's incredible. When you talk about strong female leads, this is the one movie.
That's the one to kind of...
Because she's also not one of those like perfect individuals, right? She's a broken individual, right? She's suffering from PTSD and everything. She went through a horrifying
because it's been how many years since she hasn't or has been dealing with this stuff?
Exactly.
Right? So it's quite a few years, decades.
Incredible premise, right? Around her, acting's phenomenal. The music, the classic music, the epic Halloween theme, they play it. The best part is not they just use it. It's where they use it at the perfect times. Wow. And the fact that they make this individual seem so horrifying, and I was arguing about this with a couple of people, with my friends particularly. Because they're saying this guy isn't... The reason this might not be as scary is because this isn't like mythical or anything, right? It's not like an exorcism or something, or it's not like some demon, right? But in my opinion, it's just as scary because this, if anything, this is more likely to happen than anything else. This is a realistic. It makes it more. That's what I was just. This is a crazy person. This is a crazy serial killer that's killing people, right? And they do such a good job, like displaying him as such that this is. And they also they like leaving those little hints, right, for us to decide because they don't openly say this is like some sort of mythical thing.
So kind of let your mind direct you in that direction.
Does he have something mythical about him, right? So such a good job.
So what's the mystique of Michael Myers?
Exactly.
Wow. How was the flow of the storyline? Did it feel like it was good? Was there like, did you feel like, oh my god, I got to get the hell out of here? It's boring. It was all good.
It's all good. And don't get me wrong. Sometimes even in great movies like Infinity War, I loved. Sometimes I had to check my phone. Right. The perfect thing about this one, the perfect amount of time. I think it's a good exactly 2 hours.
Is it? How long?
I think exactly 2 hours.
Oh wow! So it's not nothing past it. Good. That's what you need. You don't need to drag on and on and on. You don't need that crap.
Pacing was perfect. Everything happened sequentially as it should.
Now, since you mentioned the look, you mentioned the first movie and the look of this one. Does it look like it's a continuation? Does it look different? You know, sometimes visually you can see how. Does it look like it was taking place in the 70s or whatever, like a direct?
No, the good thing about this one, it takes place
now.
40 years later from then.
So. So I got you.
But what they do so well, they make it. The way it's shot is it's shot like
it.
Exactly, very similar.
So it has that nostalgic feel,
and on top of that, if you look at the environment and everything, it looks just like the old movie, right?
Okay.
But like in a modern, a modern version of the old locations, pretty much, which is incredible, right? That it gives you that what's the word? The nostalgia, and but at the same time, it knows it's a modern movie. It's also trying to be loyal, but it also doesn't want to go, let's retread completely on what we did. It doesn't want to be a rip off of the first.
I gotcha. So, what were your expectations going in, Mr. Movies, and were you satisfied? Were you disappointed? Were you cool? You know, like you heard that now it's out pretty much that it's made close to $100 million.
Excellent. Yeah.
So, is it worth every penny?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd still say recent horror movies, it is still my gold standard, but this is probably the second place.
So it kind of lives up to it, or doesn't?
It lives up to it, right? It's probably one of the best horror movies I've ever watched.
Damn.
Yeah, straight. It's
good.
So well written. I think that's the main thing. What it really put in place, it started this whole new trend because horror movies have been on a slump recently.
Yeah, they were
right?
crap.
What I feel like did recently, it put the story before the horror, and then the horror complemented the story. This did a very similar thing.
Good.
This tried to first make it interesting.
So they used the same formula, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
How it used it, that's the model. And they kind of implied it here.
While also staying loyal to the original. So they did an excellent job.
Damn. So where does this film, Mr. Movies, before we go to the spoiler portion, where does this film, because you've probably seen the other ones too, does it stack up to the first one? Is it better than the other ones that we've seen, like Rob Zombie? What would you say overall? Much better?
Much better than anything other than the first one. The first one might just be ahead of it.
Because the first one,
at the same
always,
time,
you know?
If I'm being honest, I'd rather watch this one again. At the same time, I know I respect the first one and I know exactly what it meant to film.
That's what you want.
So I want to say this is second, even though I personally would rather watch this one again than the first one.
Okay, cool. So you highly recommend it. So you tell everybody in YouTube land?
Highly recommend. If you're looking for a horror movie this October or the rest of the year, I don't see any other horror movie coming out the rest of the year.
Chucky.
Competing with this. I don't see Chucky competing
Chucky's coming out. Even Chucky? That's probably a stupid little whatever.
I never liked Chucky that much, in all fairness. But
Child's Play, the first one was whatever.
It's got to do something very special, Chucky, to beat something like this.
It won't be. Trust me, they're going to just throw some money and see what happens. It's going to bomb. But anyways, so the most part, Mr. Movies does recommend this. So now, guys have been warned. 3, 2, 1. This is the spoiler portion. So now, Mr. Movies.
Yep.
Tell us a few good things or points or scenes in the movie that you loved, and of course, what you did not like about it.
Yep.
Tell us. You can ruin it now. Spoiler.
Perfect. So one of my favorite things was it has to be the kills.
Oh, damn.
Because it doesn't go into like full on it's not bloodbath. This isn't Friday the 13th.
It's not a slasher film.
This isn't Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Right? This isn't just a blood and
Saw or whatever the crap.
Right? This isn't just gore for gore's sake. But the kills are so intricate. The first off-screen kills, the ones that you find the dead bodies, but you don't actually see them killed, or there's a really gross one.
Gruesome. You can see what he did.
Gruesome. It's just to explain. It's like it's a gas station. This guy has a microphone. His face is like beaten into the microphone with his jaw like split open completely.
Excellent.
His teeth missing completely. If you saw the trailer where he opened his hand and drops the teeth, that's exactly where it happened.
Really?
Then the first kill is something that like to this day I still have.
Have you seen anything like it? That's another thing.
I've seen gruesome ones, but I haven't seen something like that. That one particularly hit me because they introduce these two new reporters at the very beginning of the film, right?
Okay.
And this happens quickly. It's the first 20 minutes that they die, right? They introduce these new reporters, and I came into it. You even see them in the trailer. I came into it thinking, oh, they're gonna probably play a decent role, right? They're really in there for 20 minutes because what happened? It's terrifying. This female reporter goes into the washroom, right, at this gas station.
Well,
she's there alone. You probably, if you saw a trailer, then he comes in. And the male reporter comes in after as she's screaming for help. He doesn't kill her yet. He sees it. That death, like, I still have just bashes. I
don't want to go see this damn movie
What was
now.
intriguing was it wasn't like some sort of, again, it wasn't some mythical being like going into it, like whipping him. It's just like crazy man just bashing his brains.
That's what I'm saying. It's shock value.
Yeah.
Can a person really go in that situation and do what he did? You're like, nah, he's not gonna do that, and then he ends up doing it. And you're like, when he does, you're like, holy crap!
For me,
What did I
it's the
see?
fact that he's just a man essentially doing this is like
He's not like a superhero or a supervillain that has powers. He's just a normal, crazy person, psychotic, and he just has no remorse, right?
Yeah. Then there's another set of kills that were very interesting. Also, these were off screen, but they were very.
Was that the
gruesome
number
as
one
well.
though?
That was the number
that
one.
was the one that stands out of your mind?
The first kill is the one that stands out in my mind because I still see the very last scene with that guy, like his face just split open completely, just looking like, oh my, what just happened?
Love
just
it.
dying.
Love it.
It's something insane.
What was it? Was it rated R?
Yeah.
It was rated R?
Yeah.
It was?
It went full blown. It had to.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Damn.
The other great thing, again,
Yeah.
I want to say my actual favorite thing of this one, Jamie Lee Curtis. I think I
So
emphasized that
she
one
actually
before.
nailed that role like she
Nailed
did
it.
how many years ago?
Exactly.
You believe her
I
in
want to
this role
see her
again.
in more than just this. She's such a strong female character, right? And as an actress, such just incredible.
Damn, I remember seeing her, Mr. Movie, like in the Halloween series, Halloween H2O. I seen it in the
Yeah.
theater. Josh Hartnett played her son in it, and I remember her in that, and I liked her in that because it kind of like solidified or made the series legitimate.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Jamie Lee Curtis is back.
Yeah.
After 20 years, it was back
Even
then.
though that's the one that they
that's
erased,
kind of like they got rid of everything, but
yeah, for sure.
I'm glad. So how was her portrayal of a female? Was she the damsel in distress?
No,
Was she a
yeah.
kick butt Linda Hamilton in the Terminator kind of chick? So you said that she set up her home like a
Yep,
fortress.
exactly.
Like to trap him in a sense? Is that what her game plan is?
Exactly. It was meant. That's one of the funniest things because. The smartest things, not funniest. I apologize.
Okay.
It starts off making you feel like it's meant to defend her. At the end of the movie, you find out she actually set all this to be a trap for him, right?
It looks like she was anxious in the trailer. She wanted to get it over with. She wants to put him out of his misery.
Yeah.
She wants to kind of like get this off her thing to maybe try
and how badass she is incredible, right?
She looked pretty mean in that damn thing.
She's trained in martial arts and shooting and everything. She in this movie she has a very bad relationship with her daughter.
I was going to say, she have any kids? This time she
Yes.
has a daughter instead of
And a
son.
granddaughter.
And a granddaughter.
Yeah. The granddaughter is a teenager and the daughter is a mother, right?
Yeah.
But like the reason her and her daughter have a bad relationship because she trained her daughter as a young kid.
So
pretty
she
much.
made her psycho, like her, like schizo.
Like she trained her daughter into a
Paranoia,
killer.
being paranoid
Exactly.
like
Her
her.
daughter's normal in this movie, but she's trained. She knows to use a gun and everything. And there's an excellent scene where she uses her daughter to essentially her daughter was trained for this, right? And her daughter looks like she's you think she's dead, right? Jamie Lee Curtis's character.
Okay.
And it's literally just the daughter waiting in the basement. It's like one of those scenes where she's aiming the gun upwards, waiting for him to come out.
Yeah.
Right? And she's like has a gun held, and she's like crying. She's like, I can't do this. He hears that pop sound, and then she's like, I was lying, and shoots him right in the head.
Wow.
Right? One of the best, because that's when you realize, this daughter who like hates her and everything, right? She hates her that she did that to her, and she played this act almost as if she was innocent. But her daughter's a trained killer now too. Like what she did for her daughter is great because this guy came back and she prepared her for war. Essentially.
Damn. Shit.
It just so.
How was the ending? Was the ending a satisfying
If I'm
ending?
to tell you the one bad thing about this movie.
So okay, so this is what he doesn't like about, and it happens to be the ending of the movie.
Exactly. I don't want to say bad.
Why, Mr. Movies? Why do you hate? Well, if you had to single out anything as one of the things you dislike, why would it be
Now
this?
here's why. It's also in a way unfair for me to dislike it, but I do, because almost every horror movie ends in this similar way.
Okay. Cliffhanger?
And it ends virtually on a cliffhanger. It ends like he ends up burning inside the house.
Okay.
Dying, right?
Yeah.
But
But
dying, we just see him.
Yeah, yeah.
We see him burning.
Yeah.
And we.
That's it.
That's
You
it.
don't know,
And then,
no body
and then
probably.
you just see them on a truck driving away, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you see the granddaughter with holding on his knife, right? Because at one point in that, at the very end, right, when they trapped him, the granddaughter stabbed him, right, with that knife multiple times
okay.
to get
So
him.
she held it.
And so the cliffhanger is, one, we don't really know if he's dead. We assume, but two, maybe they're setting up the daughter to be the new Jason. What was saying, new Michael Myers.
Or maybe
Yeah.
she'll have the knife and Michael wants his knife back.
That's another.
So then wherever that knife is, he's gonna go there.
Exactly.
So he's gonna find him.
So it's
Wow.
I like
Overall?
I get where they wanted the setup. At the same time, I don't like a cliffhanger. I think it was like the perfect ending as well.
Because you knew
right?
there's gonna be another chapter.
Because you knew there was going to be a second one, but
Yeah.
even then, this one, even if there's never going to be a second one, this one ended perfectly. As
So the
first
way
one.
it ended, you're like, okay, if they do decide to pick it up, how many years they'll be
Exactly.
able to. If
This
not,
one, on the other hand, it feels like there has to be a sequel the way they
okay.
ended.
Well, if they do a
Which I don't
trilogy
like.
out of it, you know, if they decide or to kind of move forward with different characters,
Exactly.
is Jamie Lee coming back though? Is that how
don't
they did?
know.
We don't know yet. So
She's
she
alive,
might-
though, I
Should be
think,
like a
so.
grandmother in her like 90s or something. I don't know what the hell.
Honestly, yeah.
Who knows what she's gonna
Kills
be?
her
Right?
then, yeah.
Okay, so overall, you highly recommend checking out Halloween.
Highly recommend it. If I have to give it a score out of 10, I'd give it maybe if I was gonna give it as a horror movie, I'd give it probably a 10 out of 10. I think it's my favorite horror movie.
Okay.
I'd give this maybe a 9.
A 9?
A 9, maybe.
Really that high, eh? That's pretty
incredible.
good. So it's worth the money that it's been making then. Because, you know, people
Exactly.
are sometimes overhyping it. It's like, oh, you know what? You got to see it. Oh, my God. You got to check it out. So it is better than all the last Halloween incarnations and all that.
Easily.
And it's the perfect sequel in your
Perfect
opinion.
sequel. The only one I can argue is maybe the first one might be better.
Okay, so
What
the
do you
first,
think?
but you know what? Usually the first ones are better than the sequels.
Yeah.
I know it's very hard for it to,
This one's
to
perfect.
knock it out of the park.
They knew what they were doing. They
Okay, good.
You can tell this was made by fans of the original.
Excellent, yeah, because the other ones are just chop
Exactly.
and put this in slasher and all that crap, you know?
Exactly.
So guys, hope you guys like this movie review
Mm-hmm.
of Mr. Movies Halloween review starring Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yep.
It's open already in theaters. He highly recommends
recommend
it.
it.
I gotta get my butt in there. So,
Yep.
like I said, if you haven't seen the movie yet, watch the first portion of our video. That's non-spoilers, and this is gonna be spoiler part or the end of the spoiler part. So, guys, until our next Civil Canadians movie review, we are out of here.